the Martinsyde G.100 and G.102 Elephant. In the summer of 1915, A. Fletcher designed the Martinsyde G.100 single-seat Scout, a larger and more advanced aircraft than the little S-1. Designed for the 120-horsepower Beardmore engine, the G100 was unusually large for a single-seater. Its two bay wings spanned 38 feet. The large size was dictated by the requirement that the aircraft should have a long range, possibly in order to act as a fighter escort to reconnaissance machines. The prototype, number 4735, emerged as a handsome biplane, conventional in construction, and with a typically elegant Martinsyde fin and rudder. This aircraft had a 120-horsepower Austro-Daimler engine, which drove a 3-blade Lang air screw. The radiator was installed behind the engine. Tested at Up Avon in September of 1915, the prototype G100 proved to have a speed of 95 miles per hour at 6,500 feet, and climbed to 10,000 feet in 19 minutes. Its flight endurance was 5.5 hours. Late in September, number 4735 was at Farnborough. The type was put into production, first deliveries being made at the beginning of 1916. The production aircraft had a 2-blade air screw, an exhaust manifold, a much cleaner engine cowling, a wind-driven petrol pump on the front leg of the port undercarriage V-strut, and duplicated flying wires. Otherwise, they were identical to number 4735. A Lewis gun was mounted above the center section to fire forward above the air screw. At a later stage, a second Lewis was fitted on a bracket behind the cockpit on the port side. It was for rearward defense. Only one RFC squadron, number 27, was completely equipped with the new Martinsyde Scout. This unit flew the type from the time it went to France on 1st March 1916 until the Martinsydes were replaced by DH-4s in November of 1917. A remarkable record. 4 other squadrons, numbers 18, 20, 21, and 23, had a few Martinsydes, which they used as escorts for their FE-2Bs, RE-7s, and BE-2Cs. Martinsydes also served in Palestine, RFC squadrons number 14, 67, and 142, and Mesopotamia, squadrons number 30, 63, and 72, where they did good work in trying conditions. Of the 127 production aircraft, 133 went to France and 64 to the Middle East. As a fighter, the Beardmore-powered Martinsyde was not particularly successful. Its size denied it the agility of a smaller contemporary Scout. The pilot's field of view was rather limited, and its armament was not effective enough. It made its mark as a single-seat bomber in all 3 theaters of war in which it operated. It could carry a 230-pound bomb, or an equivalent weight of smaller bombs. The later aircraft had the 160-horsepower Beardmore engine, which enhanced the performance. The more powerful engine usually had 3 stub exhausts without a manifold. Occasionally, as on A3948, an internal manifold with a single outlet was employed. With the 160-horsepower Beardmore, the aircraft was designated Martinsyde G.102, but to the RFC, the Beardmore Martinsyde was known as the Elephant. The G.102 replaced the G.100 on all fronts as aircraft became available. Not all G.102s had the 160-horsepower Beardmore, however. It is known that several had the 120-horsepower engine, possibly because the more powerful type was scarce, or the aircraft were intended for training duties. An Eman triple gun mounting was tested in the G.102 in August of 1917. 3 Lewis guns were installed within the fuselage, firing at an upward angle of 45 degrees through slots in the center section. Presumably, this was for home defense purposes, but only one Elephant went to a home defense squadron. The Martinsyde Elephant was operational with No. 72 Squadron in Mesopotamia until October 1918. Apparently, the type had been everywhere withdrawn by the time the official statistics of airplanes on charge on 31st of October 1918 were compiled, but a few escaped this particular census. Among these were two which were still in operational use, with a detached flight of No. 63 Squadron, RAF, at Kasvin as late as May and August 1919, respectively, during the operations against Jungalis. Another late survivor was A6286, a G.102 that was repaired at Farnborough in February 1919, its RAF wire interplane bracing being then replaced by cables. It was flown on the 25th of that month. A much modified version of the Elephant was built in 1916, possibly very soon after it was realized that the aircraft was not sufficiently agile to be effective as a fighter. This variant had single bay wings on what appeared to be a standard Elephant fuselage. Although it did not go into production, it led to the design of the Martinsyde RG.